there's so many people out there that need their grief witnessed. And I use that term witnessed because the most healing thing that you can do for someone is to just listen to their story, just listen to them talk about whoever it is they lost or whatever it is that they've gone through that have put them in the area of grief, to learn how to listen to someone's story and to just empathize with it, because I think that will teach people that they can sit with grief and other people's grief and they don't have to fix it. You can't fix it.
Right.
And so it's a way for like listeners to practice just hearing someone talk about something so hard. Hey everybody, it's me, Shay. Welcome to the first episode of Grief Witnessed, where we remember, where we tell the stories, and where grief is allowed to exist without fixing it. All right, guys, welcome to the first episode. I'm really excited. I'm here with my producer, BJ.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, BJ, thanks for being here. I thought that I would give you guys the chance to get to know me a little bit and get to know this podcast and the purpose behind it. So I have BJ here. He's going to kind of help ask prompting questions to help get to know me and get to know the purpose of the podcast.
Yeah. Before we talk about like grief in this podcast, I want to know like, who are you outside of grief and outside of this whole experience that you've been through? Like, help us get to know Shay.
Okay. Outside of grief and being a widow, I am a mom. Currently, my daughter is 8 months old. Her name's Amy Lou.
Cute.
Yeah, she's very cute.
Yeah.
She's very, very cute. And I'm also a mental health therapist. I treat couples and adult individuals, and I've been a marriage and family therapist for about 3 years now. That's what I do for work, among other things like content creation and stuff like that.
And did your experience with Tanner, is that what kind of drove you to becoming a therapist, or was that an interest before? It
was an interest before. Actually, Tanner and I, we were both, before Tanner got diagnosed, we had the same major. We were family science, behavioral science majors. And both of our goals were to become a marriage and family therapist.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, it was kind of fun. We took the same classes together.
Cool.
And
That's
as newlyweds, we took like teaching human sexuality and parenting and marriage and relationship skills. So it was good for newlyweds to take those classes together.
Kind of learn it together as you're learning it in life. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, what made you decide to start Grief Witness?
I've had this thought for a long time to start a podcast, and I just felt like there's so many people out there that need their grief witnessed. And I use that term witnessed because I am a certified grief educator, and the most healing thing that you can do for someone, for the person that has the grief and to support someone that has grief, is to just listen to their story, just listen to them talk about whoever it is they lost or whatever it is that they've gone through that have put them in the area of grief. And so I felt that way for a long time, and I put it off for a long time because I didn't have the time to do the editing, which thank goodness I have you so you can do it.
Yeah.
And finally I just decided to pull the trigger, for the lack of a better word. And here we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when people tune into this podcast, what are you hoping that they can get out of it, or what are you trying to accomplish with it?
I want them to learn how to listen to someone's story and to just empathize with it, because I think that will teach people that they can sit with grief and other people's grief and they don't have to fix it. You can't fix it.
Right.
And so it's a way for like listeners to practice just hearing someone talk about something so hard. And then also there's so much you can learn from grievers in just the intention and importance of life.
Yeah.
And I want people to hear other people's perspectives on life when they've gone through something really, really hard, and be able to relate to them too.
Yeah. And I'll say, I mean, from my standpoint, it is kind of cool because, I mean, being a producer, I'm back there forced to not talk or say anything because I'm being quiet and just listen. And it is cool to just kind of sit there and and watch you guys share and experience those emotions. And there are a lot of emotions. People are going to see that in watching it.
There's a lot of emotions.
I cry back there.
Do you? Laughing, crying, all of those things, which can both of those things can be present during grief.
Right.
So,
in fact, it's probably healthiest to have a mix of all.
It is.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Dark humor.
Yeah.
We love that.
Now let's get in kind of your story before this podcast. How did you meet Tanner? Kind of tell us your little love story.
I love this
I know
subject.
you love this.
I love the love stories. So Tanner was a Mormon missionary in my home ward when I was a senior in high school. For those of you that don't know what a Mormon missionary is, it's just basically you're going out and spreading the word about your religion. So he was doing that in Arizona, where I'm from. And the first area that he served in was my church congregation.
Okay.
So he was like 18 years old, fresh, brand new. I was 17 in high school. I was a senior. And I thought he had this really big smile, and he was very humble, not a know-it-all with the scriptures, with the Bible or anything like that. And my dad was the bishop or pastor of the area. And so Tanner got to be really close with my dad, and he was good friends with my dad. And I just thought Tanner was adorable. He just had these really big cheeks and this really big smile.
Cute.
So that's when we first met. And then we were Facebook friends and just kind of followed along over the years. And we reconnected 5 years later.
Okay.
And that's when we started dating.
How'd you guys reconnect?
So I went through a hoe phase.
Okay.
And I just went on dates with a lot of guys, and I was coming to Utah to go on dates. And one particular day I had 3 dates, and the last date of the day was Tanner.
Okay.
So he was living up here, and I told him like, hey, I'm going to be in town. We should hang out. And our hangout turned into a makeout.
Okay.
And, Tanner was like, well, Tanner was also a man whore at this time. And
it all works together.
It does. And he just thought like, I can't kiss and ditch Shay because I have a relationship with her family. So he was like, well, why don't we try dating? And the rest is history. We dated for 7 months. We got engaged the 4th of July, and then we got married at 10 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so from that first date, you just immediately started dating?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And but you were the person to first reach out and kind of make the move.
To tell him I was in town. Yeah. And also I'm a bold girly, so I was also the first one to make a move. I did not kiss him, but it was like 2 a.m. We were driving home from the hot springs that we went to. And I was like, oh, I'm really feeling really tired. And I'll just lay my head on his shoulder. And then he was like, oh, and then he held my hand, and then we got to his apartment, and then he kissed me, and then we made out.
Every good love story.
Every good love story starts with a great makeout, right?
How would you describe Tanner to someone that doesn't know him?
Hilarious, really goofy, says really inappropriate things at probably inappropriate times.
Give us an example.
Okay, so this was an example when he got diagnosed.
Okay.
So my mom's a dental hygienist, and we were visiting her office in Arizona to get our teeth cleaned. And it was honestly probably like a couple months after he got diagnosed. And Tanner was in the chair, and there was a dental assistant that came in to kind of talk to my mom and was like, I'm so sorry about, she was saying this to me and Tanner, I'm so sorry about your diagnosis. Like, that's so hard. And then Tanner immediately made a death joke, and I wish I could remember what it was. And he was laughing, and the dental assistant was like, she literally was like, I don't know if I should laugh at this or not.
Yeah.
And I told her, you can laugh. It's okay. Also, when he got diagnosed, literally the day after he got diagnosed, he said to the oncologist, which is the cancer doctor, he said like, so do you guys have like a list of stuff, a list of places I can go to get free stuff now that I have cancer? So he's just a funny guy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
A friend to everyone. Like Tanner had lots of friends from lots of different groups. And he was just a good friend and just really kind and took care of everyone.
I love that.
Yeah.
What did life feel like with him before cancer entered the picture?
Life it was fun. We had only been married 2 years when he got diagnosed. So we were still newlyweds.
Yeah. And sometimes those first 2 years are the roughest times.
It was fun for us though. Good. It was, I think the last 5 years of our marriage were the roughest with cancer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's definitely an adjustment period of like, are you going to poop with the door open or closed? There's an adjustment period, which, we went through, and you're blending two different families.
Right.
Just because of how each of you were raised. But we had fun. Like I have distinct memories of getting mad at him for playing video games instead of going to bed with me.
Okay.
And I have I have a video. I will never post this because Tanner's butt naked. But he's like, there's a towel on the couch and he's sitting on it playing video games butt naked. And I'm in my bedroom wanting to go to bed. And I have a video and I'm like, you're mean for not coming to bed. And I'm singing, you know the song Jolene?
Yeah.
By Dolly? I'm singing, you're mean, you're mean, you're mean, you're mean. And it's a really funny video.
That's awesome.
So we had a good time together.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, Shay, well, can you take us back to the moment when you found out that he was diagnosed with cancer? What was that like? What thoughts were going through your mind?
Yeah. Thinking back about it now, I'm like, yeah, it was so obvious something was wrong. But Tanner had been having some symptoms, some like really pretty severe rectal bleeding. And we're not talking like hemorrhoid bleeding. We're talking like hemorrhaging blood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no small thing. So we got a colonoscopy, and so Tanner came back pretty quickly after the start of the colonoscopy. I think colonoscopies are generally like, I don't know, 40 minutes. He came back probably after 20.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that was fast. And Tanner was still kind of waking up, and the doctor came in, and Dr. Dickinson, we love Dr. Dickinson. He came in and he pulled up a chair, and now I know when a doctor pulls up a chair and sits down, you know that there's something wrong.
Right.
So he pulls up the chair and he like pats Tanner's leg and says, "You go by Tanner?" And Tanner's like, "Yeah, I go by Tanner." That's kind of how Tanner tells the story. Like he's like, "Duh, like that's my name."
Yeah.
I think the doctor was just being kind, but he just said, "We were not able to finish your colonoscopy because about 10 centimeters into your colon, we found a mass that is blocking your almost entire colon. And we could not get a camera past that." And when you hear mass, you think tumor, and then you think cancer.
Right.
So immediately I'm like spiraling, like, oh my gosh, it's cancer. And he said, "I'm 90% sure that this is cancer, and likely it's colon cancer." And then I'm crying. And I think Tanner's in shock. He's not crying yet.
Right.
And I'm just crying because you hear cancer and you think death. Like, yeah, that's a big word.
Especially to hear one that's that big that like they can't even get the camera pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was really kind. He said, "I called my colleague who's an oncologist, and he can get you in tomorrow. Tomorrow's his day off, but he's going to come in and he's going to fit you in and see you." So Dr. Dickinson leaves, and then we're just kind of like in shock. And I think Tanner called his parents first, and they were both on FaceTime, and he told them, and they laughed because Tanner's a jokester, right?
Yeah,
so they didn't believe him. They're like, haha, that's like funny.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "No, I'm serious." And then they were like, "Oh, okay." I don't remember if they cried or not, but I called my dad and I told him. And then I tried to call my mom numerous times, but she was at work. And so my dad called the dental office that she worked at and said, let me talk to Amy. And then my dad told my mom. And yeah, that was a hard day. Tanner cried when he told his parents. Well, when they actually like believed him, he started crying. And then he called his boss and said, I'm not going to be to work for a while because they found a tumor and I likely have cancer. And that was also pretty hard for him. I think that was like a realization of, wow, this is real. I'm not going to be working for a while.
Yeah.
So that was what that day was like. And after that, we went and got waffle love because he had been, you can't eat for whatever, 12 hours or whatever before. So we celebrated with waffle love.
Love it.
Yeah.
What was that like immediately following?
Immediately following, we knew like Tanner was not going to be able to work. So I was the breadwinner. I worked like 4 jobs at one point, 3 jobs most of the 5 years. And then we like slowly, we waited to tell kind of extended family until we knew what stage it was. We found out pretty quickly that it was stage 4, which was really a shock to us because our oncologist said like, you're really young, you're 25, you likely have stage 1 or 2. Then they found that it spread to his liver and so that meant it was stage 4. So that was shocking. So you get on chemo and you just get going with the treatment.
What surprised you most about then like living with somebody with cancer and kind of the shift in your life?
I'm very much an encourager of productivity. I encourage productivity. And when you have cancer, it is okay to not be productive.
Right.
And so I had to do a pretty significant mind shift of like, no, like what he is doing is he's fighting cancer.
Right. And that is productive.
And that is productive.
You're just sitting there.
Even if you're just sitting there. And like, that's what like almost all of the 5 years was like, is Tanner just sitting and fighting cancer because the side effects of radiation and chemo and the recovery of surgeries is really taxing on the body. And so that took a major mind adjustment for me.
Well, and I can imagine it also feels hard when you're working 3 jobs and trying to have everything to not be like, oh, can you do
you help?
Yeah.
Which he tried. He tried to be my little homemaker and, when he had the energy, clean up. And we had to learn that we throw water bottles away and cans of soda. And we don't let 10 of them build up.
Right, and pizza boxes.
And pizza, we don't let all of it build up. We just throw it away. Just because he was spending so much time at home.
Right.
And it wasn't like that before. We were at school, he was at work, and now he was at home all the time.
Yeah. And I also imagine it's tricky too, trying to find the balance between like working 3 jobs and spending time with him and making sure that, your life is still going forward in all the ways that it can, but being able to slow down and be there with him.
Yeah.
And sit with him.
Yes. I was lucky enough with my jobs that like one of them was remote. So I worked from home maybe 20 hours a week. And that was pretty easy. Like I could just sit on the couch with Tanner, be working from my computer.
That is nice.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah.
And then another one, I was an adjunct professor at UVU.
Okay.
So that's only like a couple hours a week that I would have to leave the house. And then during, let's see, the second and third year of Tanner having cancer, I started a wedding photography and videography business. I needed to take up a hobby.
Yeah.
And then I'm a productive person. So that hobby then became a job for me. And Tanner actually became my videographer.
That's awesome.
Yes. And he felt good enough at that time to be able to do that.
That's cool.
So we could still spend some time together. And then again, those are just like a couple sessions a week. And then I'm home editing.
Yeah.
So
you lived a long time with kind of anticipatory grief.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you, I guess, find kind of a balance in that of, grieving a loss that's to come and yet being present? And I also love, from what you've shared with me, the moments that you celebrated like his funeral beforehand and things like that. Kind of tell me about that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I didn't know that what I was experiencing was anticipatory grief. Cancer is a roller coaster because at one moment you could be at a high of like the treatment's working.
Right. Everything's going to be
and everything's going to be okay. And like, it's going to be cured. And the next moment, literally the next week or the next scan, it's grown and the treatment has stopped working. And so it's such a roller coaster and a lot of emotions. And my therapist, Abby, we love Abby, pointed out like what you're experiencing is anticipatory grief because you know that with stage 4 cancer, with stage 4 colon cancer, the 5-year survival rate is under 14%.
Right.
And you, not only are you grieving a life currently that you thought would be different, but you're also grieving a life
in the future.
That's going to be different. And it's something you have zero control over, which in reality, we don't have control over anything, but you really feel it with cancer.
Yeah.
Like it's in your face. You have no control, which is great for someone that has a little bit of anxiety. So the way that we took back as much control as we could was by being very intentional with the time that we had.
I love that.
So, we knew Tanner was going to die. And so we decided to take some control in that area of like, okay, we're going to go shopping for cemetery plots and buy Tanner's and I bought my cemetery plot as well. We're going to buy cemetery plots. We are going to go to the mortuary and purchase a funeral package. We got a death doula. Do you know what death doula is?
I've learned it on your episodes.
On my episodes. Okay. So for anyone that doesn't know what a death doula is, basically a birth doula helps someone come into this life. A death doula helps someone leave this life and supports the family as well.
Which is really cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
I suggest a death doula for everyone, even if they don't know when they're going to die, plan stuff.
Yeah.
And have it, because that you are showing so much love to your family by doing that. And it's a huge relief to have done. So there's like paperwork that we got done, like advance directives, what Tanner wanted at his end of life. One of the questions is, what do you want your deathbed to be like?
Okay.
What smells do you want around you? What do you want your dying area to look like?
Yeah.
Tanner wanted it to be like fall. So I got like fall leaves and candles. He wanted Jurassic Park music and like Star Wars music, John Williams. So we had that playing when he was on hospice. He wanted it to smell like fall, so we got fall scents. So that was like one thing we did. We also planned his funeral, like his actual funeral. And then we had a celebration of life while he was still alive. We did a video. We did a life story movie.
Yeah.
And we did a premiere. And it was like a red carpet event. Everyone came in like their like black tie attire. There was a red carpet. We arrived in a limo. It was really fun.
That is fun.
Yeah, it was a good memory. And now we have this life story movie that we can show Amy Lou.
Yeah.
So she can know her dad and know what he was like, because you can see how funny he is in that video. And we laughed and we cried while we watched that.
Yeah.
And then his funeral was all planned. I didn't have to do a thing. Which
I'm sure is super nice.
It was so nice.
Yeah.
It was. I'm sure people were like, why is Shay not crying when I was at the funeral? I think part of that is I'd been grieving Tanner's death for 5 years.
Right.
Other people were not in it like I was. And so they are just approaching their grief. Like their grief is brand new with this. Mine was not brand new.
That makes sense.
And also I was enjoying what Tanner planned.
Yeah, especially when you know that it's what he wants. Because so many times you have no idea if this is what they're wanting, or the stress of pulling everything together in, a week.
Yeah. And I think we've heard that from like a lot of the guests that we've had on is how stressful that time was. And
you
like,
kind of just go numb.
Yeah. And I didn't have that experience, and I'm grateful. And I wish I encourage and I hope that everyone will do that. We'll plan that in advance. Because it really was beautiful. Like, it was exactly what Tanner wanted, down to the harpist that played Duel of the Fates from Star Wars. So
that's cute.
Yeah, that's awesome. It was good.
As you were talking, it made me start to wonder, how did you deal with kind of, I guess, I feel like sometimes hope can be a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Of like, how much hope do I hold on that things are going to get better?
Yeah.
Versus how much is that hurting to kind of continue to have that hope? And
that's a good
how
question.
much do I have hope in, like, oh, I love that we're having like his life movie.
Yeah.
But how much does that kind of also hurt to kind of be knowing that it's coming to the end? How did you balance that?
Yeah. Tanner and I balanced it very differently.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was unhealthy for me to be on this roller coaster all the time.
Yeah.
And there was a phrase that I lived by. It was hope for the best, plan for the worst, and take what comes.
Mm-hmm.
And that put me in a place of reality. I wasn't pessimistic. I wasn't optimistic. I was just in reality.
Yeah.
Which was really good for me. It was really grounding for me. It didn't, like, I had like a little bit of this, but it wasn't like this of like, he's going to live. He's going to die. He's going to live. Like, okay, he's going to live for as long as his body can help him live.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to die.
Yeah. Which is true. I mean, regardless, right?
Yes, it is. But it's hard for people to comprehend that.
Yes.
Tanner, he was a very optimistic person.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very hopeful. He had a lot of moments of denial because, frankly, he was scared to die.
Yeah.
And maybe I would be too if I was in his place. And currently, I wouldn't say I am, but yeah.
I also feel like as, I don't know, you feeling like you're giving in to death and that you've stopped fighting if you don't have hope.
Yeah.
And I imagine a lot of people struggle with that, whether they're the ones going through cancer or whatever it is, or if it's the partner or friend or loved one.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, am I giving up if I stop having hope? So how did you deal with not giving up, I guess, and switching that mindset?
For me?
Yeah. Or for Tanner.
Yeah. I never felt like what I was doing was giving up. It was just more accepting.
Mm-hmm.
Accepting life and the fact that there is, I don't remember which guest said it, but they brought up an expiration date.
Yeah.
And the fact that there is an expiration date on every single person, no one is exempt to that.
Right.
And I accepted that. And for cancer patients, for people that are fighting terminal illness, hope and optimism helps them live longer.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. And I also recognize that the body may be doing something different. Like the body may be trying to die.
Mm-hmm.
And the mind is not letting it
happen.
Yeah. And it causes like a fight between the mind and the body. And the body, it's a lot of suffering. And I saw that with Tanner especially the last 9 months where I was pregnant with Amy Lou.
Yeah.
He was fighting because he wanted to be there when she was born and wanted to meet her and be there as long as he could, but his body was dying.
How did you sit with Tanner through that as his body is fighting against his mind and all of that? I'm sure that's so hard to sit there and like encourage them, but you also don't want to see them in pain anymore. And you are watching while they're alive, even a loss of who you knew and loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always gave Tanner, he didn't need my permission, but it helps to hear that someone has your permission. Like, you don't need to do this anymore. If you want to be done, if you want to be done fighting, that's okay. it is not you giving up.
Yeah.
And frankly, for any like cancer patient or caregiver or whatever, I hate the term giving up. Because that's not what it is.
Right.
It's just, I don't want to sound like Buddha, but I just feel like it's like becoming one with your body and like stop fighting your body.
Yeah.
So I would often like, it's okay. You can do whatever you feel like you need to do. You don't need to make a decision based on anyone else but you, not even me. Don't make a decision based on me.
Yeah.
So it was me saying that stuff to him a lot.
Yeah. Which is, I'm sure, super hard to say.
Yeah.
Because you want them there with you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm sure it meant the world to him to know that, like, okay, she's not gonna, hold it against me if I just can't do this anymore.
No. Yeah. And at some point I knew like me wanting him to be here is selfish.
Right.
Because he is suffering.
Yeah.
Like I can't even describe, if there was a word worse than hell, I would use it because it was hell for him.
Yeah. That'd be hard.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us kind of your last moments with him and what that was like?
Yeah, my last moments with Tanner are very, very special to me. And they're kind of comical a little bit.
Yeah.
As it would be with Tanner. But Tanner made the decision on Father's Day to go on hospice.
Okay.
And he was on hospice for about a week and a half. And hospice was horrible. And I don't think it's that way for everyone. I think a lot of people are able to be at peace and like sedated. But again, Tanner's mind fought that.
Yeah.
So he was never sedated. He would never, like his body would like fight the sedation.
Oh, wow. And
yeah, it was horrible. There's also a process of dying.
Okay.
There's different stages of dying. And the last stage is active. You're actively dying. And in that stage, the person's usually in a coma. And it usually takes hours to days to have like the final event of them dying. Tanner, on hospice, he was up and walking around and trying to talk and like he wasn't really with it.
Yeah.
But he was very, very weak. He didn't have the muscle capacity to walk to the sink, but he wanted to. So he would get up and try, and he was very unstable. He would get up and try to walk to the sink because he wanted to stick his face under the faucet and drink water because he's very thirsty. Okay. You get kind of thirsty. And so we were standing up and sitting down and standing up and sitting down with him because he was he was kind of agitated and just moving around a lot. And the night before Tanner died, I said to my mom, I feel like Tanner's going to die tonight, but it doesn't make sense because he hasn't gone through the stages of dying like what they're supposed to look like. He's not in an active dying stage. He's up and trying to move around and moving from the bed to the couch, to the bed, to the couch. And she was like, well, if that is the case, have you said everything to him that you would want him to know? And I said, yes, without a doubt. I have said everything to him that I would want him to know. So we go to bed and I wake up. I was breastfeeding at the time. So I was pumping and I finished pumping and I went into the kitchen to wash my pump parts and my father-in-law, Tom, was out there and Tanner was sitting on the edge of the bed watching Indiana Jones with Tom and Spencer, Tanner's brother. Okay. And Tom said, Shay, oh my gosh, Tanner was so funny. We were watching Indiana Jones and this is the Indiana Jones that had Nazis in it. And Tanner was like, freaking Nazis. And then he just like started punching the air. Like he was fighting them. He's funny. He's a funny guy. And then immediately after that, he said, oh, I'm so high because we got him medical marijuana. So to kind of help him relax, which he loved his medical marijuana. He had a medical card for all 5 years and he thoroughly enjoyed it. No, he was not afraid to use it and he thoroughly enjoyed it. So he was like, oh, I'm so high. And anyways, I finished washing my pump parts, and I walked over to where Tanner was, and I said, "How are you doing, honey?" And he gave me 2 thumbs up. Said, "I'm good." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so glad." And I just patted him on the back, and I just said, "I love you. I'm gonna go to bed." And he said, "Love you too." And those were the last words that I spoke with him, that he said to me and I said to him was, "I love you," which I'm really grateful for that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I went back in my bedroom to go to sleep. And about 30 minutes later, there was a knock on the door, and it was Tom, Tanner's dad. And he said, "Hey, Shay, Tanner's breathing has changed. I think this is it." And I was like, there's no freaking way. He was just awake, talking to me
and joking
fighting
around.
Nazis.
Yeah. Fully like conscious watching a movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so anyways, I got out of bed. My mom had been helping with me with Amy Lou. So she was there too. And she came out with Amy Lou, and I went and sat by Tanner, and sure enough, he had kind of gone into a coma. And his breathing was very, very slow. Like so much that every breath you're like, is this the last breath? Is this the last breath? And I got on the phone with the nurse, and I said, "Hey, Tanner's breathing's changed. I think he's in the active dying stage." And she said, "Well, active dying takes hours to days. So you guys have, there's time. It's not gonna be anytime soon." And Tanner's dad was like, "Shay, he's gonna go." Which logically I'm like, what? Because that doesn't follow the logical stages.
Right, but you had that feeling too.
And so I was like, okay. And I just got off the phone with the nurse and I sat in the chair right next to him. And I just held his hand, and I put Amy Lou right next to him and my dog Luke on his legs. And his breathing was very, very slow, like one breath every 20 seconds, like very slow. And I just said to him, like, "Sweetheart, you can go. I'm going to take care of your family, and we're going to take care of each other. And it's okay. You can go." And sometimes they need to hear that, permission. And he took what I know now as his last breath. And my dog Luke kind of like jumped. He jumped and startled and like looked back at Tanner. And that was his last breath.
Wow.
And it was peaceful. Everyone was crying, of course. But it was a peaceful experience. Not until, so when someone dies, the mortuary comes and picks up the body. And when the mortuary came and they wrapped his body up and started to take it out, that's when I really started crying. Like, because it was like, oh my gosh.
Reality.
It's real. Yes. Like, he's physically gone. That's hard. Like, that's a hard memory, as just seeing them take his body out.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, the rest of the day, I felt really close spiritually to Tanner. Like, his soul, his spirit, whatever you want to call it, felt very close to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel overwhelmed. I didn't feel like an overwhelming sense of sadness. I mostly just felt peace that day. And it kind of lasted for a couple days. And I've heard that from other people as well.
I've heard that from like quite a few times on your podcast, of like not only like that sense of peace, but also like they just had a feeling that this was the day beforehand, and all sorts of different things. And it feels like, I don't know, they're there kind of with you and taking care of you in the way that they can. Yeah. And
I don't know if, I'm trying to remember some of my guests, if it was different for sudden death, because
it did seem like different,
right?
Yeah.
Because there's no preparation.
But some of them even had said like they had feelings of like
that it was kind of a different day, like that they knew
something was off, and like, their husband was making sure to spend extra time with them, or different things.
I know exactly
like
who you're talking about.
Yeah. Or and I think you've had 2 on that were
similar to that.
Like sudden. And they were both kind of seemed similar of like, I don't know, just those moments.
Yeah.
And so that is cool that, I don't know.
Yeah.
God's looking out for us. And, and somehow, or our partners are, and they're able to be there and help you in the ways that they can.
Yeah. I think it's a very, very sacred, special experience.
Yeah. So it's been 7 months now.
Mm-hmm.
How have you been able to kind of move forward with Tanner, but also in your life in general?
Yeah, that's a good question. I keep Tanner very involved in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I try to stay very connected to him. I write to him, like I write letters.
I love that.
Yeah. They're kind of like, have you seen Harry Potter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know the movie, I think it's maybe the second movie, Chamber of Secrets, where he like writes to Tom Riddle in a book and then Tom Riddle writes back.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So Tanner's not really doing that, but I do feel like when I write something, immediately I feel like Tanner's presence and kind of his thoughts of like, even if it's not Tanner, it's like what he would say.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. It's like bringing him back.
Yeah. So I do that. His grave is within walking distance and I visit it pretty often.
That's nice.
Yeah. Which I personally don't feel that he's there, but it's a way to honor him.
Right.
And I talk to him out loud and this is funny. I have a picture of him in my bathroom.
Okay.
And people make comments on it quite often because it's by the light switch. It's like right above the light switch. And that light switch faces the toilet. Like, and so people sit down and then they look over and Tanner's smiling.
Sitting there watching them. That's funny.
So that's kind of comical. And like Tanner would actually hate that. He doesn't like to be in the vicinity of someone going to the bathroom. But it's comical. And then I'm raising his daughter.
Yeah.
And I'm raising our daughter.
Yeah.
And I see him in her a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I picked her up from kid care at the gym today and they were like, she's so social and she's so happy. I'm like, yeah, she's her.
Just like her dad.
Just like her dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I'm keeping his memory alive. I'm also like very involved with Tanner's family. Mm-hmm. They come over multiple times a week.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we talk about memories and pictures. We look at pictures. So as far as moving forward, and I like the term moving forward and not moving on.
Yeah.
Because when you say moving on, it kind of feels like you're leaving someone in the dust. Yeah, leaving them in the dust.
Right.
And that's not what it is. You're moving forward. You're carrying them forward with you.
Yeah.
And I think this podcast is a really big example of that. Every time I have conversations with someone on here, I also think about Tanner.
Yeah.
And there is some, with moving forward, there's quite a bit of identity adjustment because I am a wife, but I am a wife and a widow.
Yeah.
So there's some identity adjustment there as well. And I know it's pretty common for people to have some adjustments to that.
Yeah, with all sorts of changes like that. Yeah.
All sorts of big changes. There's some identity adjustment. And then also I'm able to finally take care of myself again. I sacrificed that a lot.
Right.
When I was taking care of Tanner.
Right.
And so I called it my transformation widow era.
Okay.
And I got a tummy tuck and I got hair extensions and got back to the gym. So I'm trying to take care of myself.
Yeah.
In all of the different facets of life, I'm working on that. So I think that's also me moving forward because I think Tana would really want that for me.
I'm sure he would.
Yeah.
And that's a way of moving forward that is honoring him and you and any future that you might have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really good. That was good.
Okay, well, Shay, one thing that you do with all your guests that I really love is you ask them about their favorite memory with their partner. And what's your favorite memory of Tanner? Yeah,
and they always say, oh, I have so many.
Yes.
And I'm like, yep, that's okay. You can share all of them if you want.
Right.
But I'll share a recent one when Tanner and I went on our baby moon
Okay.
right before I had Amy Lou. Let's see, it was in March. I had Amy Lou in May. And Tanner is a very bougie boy.
Okay.
He likes things very fancy. So we flew out to Hawaii first class.
Nice.
It was our both like first time in a long distance flight in first class.
Oh, okay.
And he's so funny.
Oh, that is different.
Yes, it's very different.
Yeah.
Like it was a 6 or 7 hour flight.
Yeah.
And Hawaiian Airlines, they took great care of us. We boarded the plane, and one of the flight attendants was like, "Oh my gosh, I follow you guys on TikTok."
Oh, no way. That's funny.
Yeah, and then they took really good care of us. And Tanner, he likes wine glasses, even though he doesn't drink wine. He likes fancy stuff like that. So he got his little wine glass, and it had nothing alcoholic in it,
like
but he just liked
cranberry juice.
Yeah, cranberry juice and all fancy. And then he lived his dream of room service at Four Seasons in Hawaii.
Okay.
Because we really couldn't do a ton. We could do maybe like one outing a day because he was so sick. He was in a wheelchair. I think he was on oxygen too at the time. So he couldn't do a whole lot.
And that takes out like surfing, you know?
Yeah, no surfing for Tanner. Nope. Oh yeah. You lived in Hawaii.
Yeah. That's where I grew up.
So, yeah, man, we enjoyed that room service, and it was just like really special. It was just a lot of really special moments with him, just like laying in our bed, eating our breakfast that they brought us. And, he just was living out his bougie dreams.
I love that. And
I have multiple memories of Tanner. He loved taking baths. He couldn't at the end of his life because of all the tubes coming out of his body. But when he could, he would get in a giant tub wherever we were staying, fill it up with bubbles.
Okay.
And then he would have his little wine glass of, it was usually like apple juice. And then he had little chocolates.
Okay.
He'd get little chocolates. And I have multiple pictures of Tanner naked in the tub. You can just see like his chest in the bubbles, holding in his little wine glass.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I love those visual memories of him.
Yeah. I do love that he seems like he was like himself to the very end. Yeah. And that he shines through. Like in all the stories that I've heard you share of him or everything, it's just, he's very himself. Yeah. And that's awesome. Well, if Tanner could hear this episode today, what would you want him to take away from it?
Well, I think he can hear this episode. I think he's like right up there in heaven playing with the dinosaurs, listening to the episode.
Hopefully he's switching the cameras for me.
Yes. I would want him to know that like all of this is for him and in remembrance of him, and trying to honor him throughout I want to honor him throughout the rest of my life. Yeah. And I want him to feel that from this episode that I am honoring him. I am remembering him. I am grieving him, and I love him, and I always will love him.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And I can tell you from an outsider's perspective, it certainly seems that way. Oh. With this and all the other stuff, like your retreat that you're planning right now and everything, I can tell that you are doing so much for him, but also for everybody that has gone through similar things. And thank you. I really admire that.
Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Let's keep doing you.
Sweet. End of story.